Hello, welcome. Let me get my lights on here and get situated. I'm glad you're here today. I'm Kathy Freeman Art, and get that light a little bit better there. I've come to share with you something that I've worked on this past week, and it is actually a project that I put out, and I wanted to share part of it with you. It is called this little one right here. It's a Waiting Under the Christmas Tree. And welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let me take a minute before I just jump in and say hello. Go ahead. Hi, Joni. Let's see. I remember today that you were coming on. Yes, thanks for showing up, Joni. We have others here. Go ahead and say hello. Put your name in the comments. Let me know where you're from and that. It's always fun to see where you're from. I'm going to go ahead and share with you today this project. It takes a little bit, just a little bit under an hour. So this will be a little longer, but what I'm doing is it's not the full project. I'm going to jump you in right where we start painting on the color. What I do before that is I take my students through, I give them the outline, the template. We talk about getting that traced on, getting that all put on there so that they can tell where the highlights are, where the shadows are, and it's easier it creates a little roadmap for making painting in acrylic so much easier. And then we take that from that step, we go into the value study. And I absolutely love the value study. It seems like it's a little tedious at first for some, but what it does is it gives you an opportunity to really look at where those lights and darks are. And then it makes it so much simpler when you get to this stage. And it makes it fast and easy. So I really enjoy putting that value study done. And then just to add a little fun and kind of sparkle to, something, a little interest to it, you put in what's called a complementary wash, which doesn't mean you necessarily use the complement to the color that's going to be on the surface, but you use, if the color surface is hot or warm, you would use a cool color. If it's cool, you would use a warm color. And so that's what we're talking about when we talk about complementary washes. So there's kind of 3 steps before you even get to this part, which I'm going to share with you today. And it's actually going in and painting. So we're going to start with the Christmas tree and go right along. And if you have questions, just type those in. I can pause or I can answer as we're going along and share with you and help you answer those questions. So let me find the right screen I need. There we go. See, this is the image that I worked from. And I named her A Waiting Under the Christmas Tree. It's time to start the green. And with this, we're going to go dark and then go to light. So our darkest dark, I'm just using the Hauser medium green. And I'm actually going to add, no, I use the, this is the chromium oxide green. And I'm going to pause this for a minute. Obviously, my paintbrush is right in front of it. But as you can see, there's a blue Christmas bulb, a yellow and a green and a kind of a brown. See, this is the wash that's over it. The tree itself, because it's going to be green, I washed it in a magenta. You see purple there because that purple is the values and the different darks and shadows, the lights, the darks and lights underneath. So the little girl, the doll, her dress is in pink. So I put it in a blue turquoise. And let me go ahead and continue on now. Let's see. That is the chromium oxide green. We're going to mix some black into this. So take whichever green you have and mix a little black in it because we want it to be really dark. And that's going to be the first one we put on here. So look for all of our dark areas, all the dark areas that we've already got, and just with nice strokes, short. We're going to fill those in. Go around the ornament. Just go ahead and go into the dark areas. Short brush strokes. Let some of that purple that you've got down shine through. So I'm looking for all the dark areas, the dark shades, shadows, the dark valued areas. Short brush strokes. Go up here at the top. Think about pine needles when you come to the edge there. We have a lot of dark area in here. Around these as carefully as I can, but I can always, you just remake your circles so it's not. Going around her hair, it's almost like she has a helmet on. See, we're following that value study, and this makes it so easy. You're just following. I'm finding the dark areas, painting those in. All right. I know that looks kind of odd, like that. Just little strokes. While we've got this green, we're gonna think about putting a wreath or something over here. So I'm doing little off to an angle. I'm just making this up. So we're not even going to worry about it being a wreath because that'll be trying to make it too precise. We're going to just put it up like that. Let's see what happens. Okay, so got my darks now. Got a lot of dark around here. I feel like I need more dark down here. Okay. Even grab a little bit of black in your brush while this is wet and come in here into just a few spots like so. So it'll be really dark. And do a quick stroke here and there of this black. And that should represent the that's a lot of black in there. But where you can kind of see through the and I'm going to cluster them, not just random. I've started kind of just randomly put it, but I'm going to kind of cluster it. Think about maybe a branch coming off from there. And that's what so they're kind of clustered together. We'll go over here, and I'm even going to put a little bit of this just on this side of this. Blend it in the best you can. Let's go back over it with some green. This Hussar. This one is the Hussar medium green. I'm going to go over the top. Little brush strokes. Now this is where the medium So it's going to fill in a great amount of everything. The lighter areas, not too many. We'll just put some in here. Look back at our value picture if we need to. But just lay this on top of the dark. Look how nice that's starting to look. Some of that purple pop through. Don't think about, okay, I've got to make this branch look short strokes over the top. On the edges, I need to lift that. Go right off the edge. That looks lovely. I love it. Just a little bit over here. I love that. We might go back in and put a little more dark here. See how easy this is too? I'm not concerning myself with trying to make the pine needles. We're just covering over the values. And we'll look at it in a minute. And if it's, too flat looking, then I'll come back in with the darker, like what's up here. I really like what's happening up there. Right off the edge with this. Well, I've got that in my brush. We'll put some on this. The key is not to put so much down that it's like equal amounts. Then nothing stands out. Okay, I'm going to go back, grab that black. And it's a little flat in here, so we need some I'm using just straight black, and because the paint's wet, it's blending in. Let's go really dark down here. Because it's like under the tree. So more black down there. Nice. Now I'm coming back with that medium Hauser. That's the one I just finished with, and I'm going to go over a little bit. Not too much, because I like what I've got. I'm going to stand back and look at it, kind of lift it up, look at it. Got a lot of black here, so I'm going to put a little more of that green down here. And I left the purple showing through here, which is really nice. It looks great. Okay, we're going to let that dry. While that's drying, let's move on to her little dress. We could take for her dress. I've got a lot of white up here. Let's take that blush pink. I'm going to put it right over where I had the alizarin. And I'm going to mix these two together. And I hope it doesn't turn to a brown. It does look like a little bit like a brown. So let's take some of the alizarin. Alizarin? No. Let's take the cardinal red. I need to brighten it up a little. Let's see what we're doing here. If you have a really pretty, nice light pink, you need about 3 shades. Okay, so I'm going to use this for the medium shade. Which will be primarily all of this lighter area in here. So we're going to put that down. And the lighter areas, I will come back and go over the top. So I'm not going to be super concerned about that right now. Put a little bit of this down here. She's got her little dress. Gonna let that line stay so I can see her shoulder. And there's a line right there, so I'm going to leave that so I can tell where it's at. I'll get up as, pretty close to it, but I'm going to leave it. And I'll come back in with my darker shade. This comes in here. We've got the darker. See, that light green should actually be a real light color. So now I'm doing, this is the mediums. Okay, so on this side, your shapes are the medium. And where there is no color, then that's a lighter. So we're going to add white, quite a bit of white to that. And I'm going to just take a little bit. Let's take that white, go over here. Grab more of that pink. So we want to step down, a couple of steps down actually, because we're not going to do it. And then we'll come back in with an even lighter. That's perfect. That's great. So the step downs are right here. I'm going to let some of that green, blue green shine through. And I have to look back up every bit because some of this is really supposed to be the lighter. And that's all right. You just almost have to get the color down there first to figure it all out. Okay, we know this is light. This is light. Some of this is light. I'm going to add that alizarin color to this. Oopsie, set it to this one right here, the lighter one. Mix it in. It's going to become the dark shade, and then it'll get even darker. So let's go right in here. And a little bit of it through here, front of her dress. And the color is more of this color. There we go. And I'm going to grab some of the black, mix into it. Or we could actually do, yeah, a little bit of the black. Because I need a really dark shade. We're right in here. Her arm. So this is basically giving us the indication that we'll put a little bit in here, but not a lot. Some down here at the bottom. We need this dark black right here in this corner where it's the elbow of the doll and the dress. Right there. Then we can put just a little underneath her collar. Just a tiny bit. Let's clean our brush. And now we're going to come back with the highlight of that. I'm going to grab the white. Some of that azalean red, magenta, crimson. Okay, I want it to be really pink, so I need a lot of white. There we go. And that is going to now go over some of this, a little bit down here. On her side here. Kind of lighten this whole side up, really. Just go right over the top of it. On this one, got it right here on that sleeve. And we're going to bring it down. And we're going to do a little bit like right here with this sleeve where her arm would bend like so. And then a little here on this dress. There we go. There's her dress. Can you tell how having that template helps to determine those colors? At least the placement of the colors. Makes it easy when you're studying that image. Okay, on her collar, there's a little bit up here on the collar. Some of that red here. Just play with it a little bit. There we go. It can't go wrong. So it's going to be just great, whatever comes out. So just play with it a little bit. Let's call that good. So we've got, all we have left really is her hair and these Christmas balls. So while we've got this pink, let's go ahead and work on the Christmas balls. I'm going to grab another round tip I have, and we're just going to play with some colors here. For example, this one, this will be a medium tone. Make these round again. Let's grab, is this purple still wet? Looks like it is. Add that in here. We're blending it in. Let's see. We want white on top of that. We're just blending it, giving it. So we're going to let that dry, and we'll come back in with some other colors with it there. We can mix that in with that. While it's wet, just blend it a little. There. Here's the violet. Okay, we got our colors. Just mix this color in a little bit here. And when I'm doing, I'm just going to make the circles. I'm going to forget about all the shadowing I did on them. Add some color to them. Get this violet here. This one. It's time to turn have ovals instead of Christmas balls. There. So let's turn this one. It's easier for me to just turn it, get that out of the way. And you can almost leave it like that. It's like behind the tree a little bit, isn't it? So if you want to do that, I just kind of chopped it off and come back with a little green if I need to. And let's grab that basic pink I've been using for her dress. And I'm going to put one over here. Just make that one a big one. This is the fun. You just grab the different colors and put in it and start blending them. It's going to be dark most of the time around the edging. Okay, these are a little K-Wampus-y. Grab that red, add it in here. You can make these any color you want, obviously. Now, instead of having you sit here and watch me as I continue, but the purpose of this particular Tuesday Live at 5 was to really emphasize to you, if you're wanting to... I'm adding this white right now, acrylic paint, and you're struggling a little bit with it. You're not feeling really comfortable. The purpose of this is I wanted to demonstrate how helpful it is to have the value blend it in while it's all still wet. It'll blend. Sometimes, and if it needs a little more highlight, we'll come back after it's dried. And I can tell you, for many, many years, I never really actually did go through and put down the values first and focus on the values. But it is so helpful when it comes down to this actual painting, because if you're wanting it to be an impressionistic style, it works beautifully because you can just layer that color on top of each other, just like you saw me do that with the dress. And I'm starting to do it with the balls. I've already covered over all of the, the template, all of the template outlines, etc. And I'm just now working and playing with it, knowing that, anytime you're trying to create around a sphere of some sort, you need to create that illusion of a round by adding the highlights, finding
the loose stroke
where that light is focused in on.
It just makes it a little more forgiving, a little more what's the word I'm looking for?
This is probably another, I would say 20, 30 more minutes, but I'm going to go ahead
takes off that
this and move it forward, because I want you to see the final product of what it turns out as you're actually just following in. Now see, I'm going to go in here and start doing the hair. Notice the hair. I'm starting with the dark first, putting down the darkest color. Now, obviously, the darkest was that little black, and the black areas were really, really dark areas that very few. It's just extremely like a little outline of an area. But I'm starting with the dark, and then I'm building on top of that, putting the next layer in. And just keep layering it on top of each other until you get to your lightest. And see, her hair is just building on top of each. It's very easy to do. Last thing is to go back in and put in your highlights, your lightest areas. And that's what I'm doing here. Going back to her face, and I played a lot with her face just because I found, that I wanted to lighten it up a little bit in areas. And so I went back and added some highlights and just played with it a little bit. There's nothing wrong, because you can always come back and darken it, change it, whatever you need to. So there we go. Let's take it right up to the final. This is the highlights on the chair, and then brushing those out so that they blend in. And there she is, the completed project. It's so easy when you use, do the value study first, and then come back in and add the layers. She is a lot of fun. I'm going to actually cut her down, put her into a frame, and send it off to my granddaughter. I think she will have a blast having it hang in her room. And she's an aspiring little artist herself, so it's kind of fun to watch her. She enjoys watching grandma and trying things herself. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. We've been on here now today for almost an hour. Thank you for your patience and for being with me. I will be back next Tuesday, and I wish you a wonderful creative week. Thank you so much for being here. It's Kathy Freeman with Kathy Freeman Art.